All right. All right, let's go.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host, Earl.
Oh, yo.
Dave.
Yes, sir.
And you know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, man, at the Hot Seed Podcast. So you can go in and tap into shows like this, Football Talk, and so much more. Episode 131. We're back again for you folks. We missed you last week. Although if you tapped into Football Talk on Saturday night, which is pretty dope, you know, you should be able to enjoy us from there. Back again for this lovely weather we got going on here. We got a special guest tonight. We're going to have Naty of Sparkle by Naty, Custom Crocs, on in a few moments with us. But first and foremost, gentlemen, how you doing?
Yep. You know, getting into that holiday feeling. About to hit this road and stuff. I do got something quick. So you know, you actually came down and saw me putting together the DMV renowned hot and sweet collard greens for my babe for her Eastern Star potluck. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I put my foot in it, man, because they got a whole text message that she just showed me today, talking about the collard greens and where did you get them from? And when they say it's from me, now I have a feeling that I'm gonna start making collard greens for other people's events that I'm not even going to. Which we're gonna have to discuss the royalties and the breakdown for that. But yeah, it was a good time. This Thanksgiving, I don't have to cook though, so it's beautiful.
I love it. Even though I do like cooking for Thanksgiving. What you got going on, Earl?
And nothing, man. Just doing some stuff that I needed to do around the house that was on this list. Trying to clean up, and then I felt like I was going to have everything done, and yeah, I did. I mean, I got a good amount. Finished washing these clothes, and I just got to fold them when I get off of here. Finished putting together 2 out of 3 IKEA boxes.
How's that working out for you? Because boy, them joints there are not made for regular
luckily,
people.
I would say the first one took me maybe like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. But the next one, which was
only 2 hours,
was exactly like that one, probably about maybe 40 minutes, because you know I got the groove of it. So now I got one more thing to do
until you put it all together and figure out that you're missing that one piece.
Well, no, it's
upside down, it's backwards.
Well, I had a couple of them. You know what? I only had one little snafu on the first joint, but it wasn't nothing crazy. Like, it wasn't like I ain't had to take mad stuff apart, so it wasn't bad.
Right.
So now I'm debating if I want to put this last piece up before I leave tomorrow morning to go down to my mother's. So I don't know. I'm gonna see how I feel.
Hey, at least you went back and switched it around. Most of us be like, nah, that's the way it's supposed to lean. That's
nah, only because that's gonna bother me. So it's like if I don't fix it in some kind of capacity, it's gonna bother me.
Cool. Like Dave pointed out too. I think I might have said either him or me said that. I forgot that so damn fast. The weather looks like crap right now. Yeah, I do drive a Mini, as you can see by the little guy right there. And first of all, I didn't realize that's how much I was not paying attention to the forecast, that there was a little storm system coming through. So it's raining, wind, and then I'm looking at it a little further. There's tornadoes that has happened in some states and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, no. So I'm driving on the interstate tonight. Mind you, Waze was like, yeah, bro, you're gonna be in traffic for a little bit, so I'm gonna need you to follow all my directions. I'm loosely quoting him. So I'm off the interstate, on the interstate, off it, and when I get off it, it's taking me through these streets and stuff that I ain't really been down before, and they them low level streets. So I'm already thinking like, bruh, flooded. I got to this one joint, and I'm moving at I'm moving at 35 miles an hour, not fast, but not slow either. And there's a vehicle behind me, and I'm like, and it got up on me so fast because my car sits low. I just had to make a business decision. Was like, bro, we just gonna go through this, and yeah, I went through it. But
I'm mad. He said the mini sits low.
Yeah, see what I did there. I don't lie. For like 2.5 seconds, maybe a little less, I might have been concerned that I might got stuck in that water, but I made it on through. But yeah. But besides that part, forget the water part because it really wasn't that bad. But what was the worst was the damn streets. Listen, I used to complain about the streets in VA around Hampton Roads all the time. I take back everything I ever said about that. Baltimore, county, city, republic, whatever the hell you want to call it. Y'all got to do better. The amount of money that we pay in taxes for this, y'all have to apply that to these streets. I don't give a damn if you're driving a Mini or a 4x4. Bruh, when I say you would think your entire transmission, your entire goddamn suspension, all that can fall out just from the amount of potholes. And it ain't just regular potholes. It's like when they got one of the manhole covers that they don't have all the way up to the level of the street, and they drop it down roughly probably about 3 inches. That's kind of big. And you hit that joint and it jars you. You have to get out and make sure that you pop the tire.
I want you to think about the statement that you just made because
I know.
You're newly to the area up there, and
I know
how many people probably said something to the city about them potholes. And the thing is, if you address it enough, they'll come out. They might even throw something in it.
Yeah.
But guess what? You're going into the winter. It ain't gonna matter.
Yeah, because
that's going to be right back open.
And if I was a city official, I would say, yo, it serves you right for having a fucking Mini. And that's
but that's the point though. It's not just a Mini. And then you look at where they paved that, and I know y'all seen it. Instead of them actually paving a smooth spot, it looked like somebody just get out there with tar, like I would get in my 3-0 and just pour it over the street, and it looked like somebody is drizzling like syrup. I'm like, what kind of raggedy ass shit is this? Like, that's the worst. Like, bruh. Y'all got to do better, man. I don't know.
So you're saying you had a rocky start of the week and a rocky weekend, huh? That was saying?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. We got a guest coming up. And as promised, we got a special guest tonight. I ain't got time for this ignorance that's going on right now. We got a special guest, Naty of Sparkle by Naty Custom Crocs on with us right now. And
yes.
we're gonna check in with her. This is part of our quasi creator series. We had actually my son on. So last month? Well, actually last month I guess it would have been when he for his Zeno clothing brand, talking about that, and he's now the sponsor of our actually football talk. And we decided to keep it in the house, literally. So by bringing Naty in, because not only is she a burgeoning entrepreneur in this custom croc game, but she is also my happily.
Where you going with this? Let's see how you doing.
Did he forget?
He backed himself into a corner. You see this? Go ahead.
Look, what is she? She's my fiance, but I had a nice little adjective with it though. So, but my financier, my fiance. Yeah, it didn't work out like I thought it was gonna do. I had it stuck in my head though. But for the purposes of the show, man, she is right. She is Naty of Sparkle by Naty Custom Crocs. So Naty, hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Cool.
Welcome his better half. That's the way you.
Yep, that's the other part.
Dave. That was easy, right?
Yeah, there you go. My better half. Yeah, because I ain't shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. So pretty much that's how it goes. So Naty, welcome to the show. This is what we do. Welcome to the most unprofessional, organized podcast there is around here. Oh, that might be a new tagline. That might work. I might like that.
No.
So let's jump right on into it. Thank you for joining us. This is something that we've been working towards and something I know you are absolutely excited about. But first and foremost, let the folks know who you are.
So I go by Naty. It's a family given name by one of my favorite aunts. And I have created Sparkled by Naty, meaning I'm just gonna bling the shit out of your Crocs and make everything look good and give you a little two-step in your pep. And that's really it.
Cool. How long has it been since you've been doing this now?
So I've been doing it for about 4 months now. I actually started with the first set of these bridles in the front for our wedding. And I started creating those, and I said, well, damn, this was fun. I like this. They're pretty. And I recently had a LLC last year. So this is a subsidiary of that business, something that's more smaller in-house that I can do by myself. And I've been creating ever since. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Big word right there,
See?
Earl. Subsidiary. I like it.
And see, I was making sure that she threw a little bit out there because you were being very humble within your introduction there. You are a jack of all trades. So between your 9 to 5 and between event planning and between now the Crocs and between holding down the household, yeah, I said it, and between putting up with that knucklehead over there, you got a lot of hats to put on.
I do have a lot of hats. So I'm a program analyst by day, mama all day long, and then when I'm off my government 9 to 5, I'm doing this, and this was a sense of an outlet for me. I was making sure that I'm pouring into my own cup, since I'm fiance, mother, leader at work. I needed something to pour into my own cup and bless other people with.
Yeah, that's right.
So with the Crocs, because and if everybody can see them clearly, there's a lot that goes into it. This is not just a thing that you just throw up there and all of a sudden, yeah, you got some specialized Crocs. It is strategically designed. So take people through like that process and how long it takes, and just break that down.
So the design process is actually all in my head. I don't sketch anything out because I don't know how to sketch.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how to do anything on the computer to help me do this, but I have a vision in my head, and it's like playing Jenga, and I put every piece exactly where it needs to be. And one Croc takes me about 28 hours to do one shoe. So double that's how long it takes me to do the set, because I limit myself to make sure I'm not burning myself out. I only work on the Crocs about 4 to 5 hours after my 9 to 5. So it does take time. But once I get focused on it, I can't put it down. That's why I have to limit myself, because I'll be up till 4 o'clock in the morning doing this if I could.
So you said you the time that it takes. So for those who are watching on YouTube, just to give you guys a quick snapshot, this is kind of what it looks like creating custom Crocs. Crocs.
Dang.
I ain't got the patience.
Just got arthritis watching that joke.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's soothing. It is time consuming, and it's a lot of tiny little pieces. I actually have to sometimes get like a little microscope to look at my pieces. But for me, it's soothing. It's like when you guys play your video games, and it's an outlet for you. Putting these little pieces all together to see the bigger picture when it's finished, it soothes me.
You know what? Somebody understands. Understands. I appreciate that.
I get it.
What's been like the most challenging aspect of creating these custom pieces?
To be 100% transparency, self-doubt. Self-doubt has been one of my biggest struggles right now because I they take a lot of work, but I also don't want to charge this, extraordinary large amounts of money because I want people to be able to enjoy them. So my biggest struggle has been setting a boundary with myself is how much I'm going to charge for something that I work on and create by hand. Knowing my worth basically has been the hardest part of this.
What you got there, Earl?
When somebody puts in like an order, is it specific or is it just, you know what, just do what you do?
So far, I've been really lucky with people that just say, hey, I love what I've seen so far, just do what you do. And I love that because that gives me the artist's freedom to just create whatever comes out of my mind. And I've everyone's loved it so far. I haven't had any complaints, thank goodness.
Okay.
I saw that you had a sorry.
Oh, you
I saw that you had a male customer. And I'm just looking at what you have in front of you right now. I could just tell you off my own preference. The only thing that I was sitting back, I was like, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. So for a simple guy like myself that may be interested saying Crocs, which I've never had in my life, to be honest with you.
They're comfortable,
but I know they're comfortable. So I definitely buy in on that. But while you want it to be, how can I say, catered to you in a way, like specialized to you, maybe you don't want it as out there as what you see right there.
Right.
Is there something for that too?
Oh yeah, I definitely have a consultation before I design anything for someone. And I want to get like an idea of how extravagant do you want to go? Are you okay with the bling? Do you want to tone it down? Do you want multiple colors?
Okay.
I want to tap into my nerd side of things, and I want to start creating some anime Crocs that are more like unisex. So it's not going to have like as much glitz and glamour, but it's going to have like, I want to do a Dragon Ball Z theme. I want to do a Sailor Moon theme, One Piece theme. So there's definitely going to be an in-between style where it's not so glitzy and glammy. So there is a happy medium.
You know, what you saying that, if you go that way, I'm telling you, this is all jokes aside, you need to go to one of those cons. I know they have them in Baltimore.
Black Comic Cons.
Yeah, you
go
up there, you set up a table and everything else like that.
Yeah, Blurred Con.
Yeah, especially with the anime and stuff. Shoot, you probably see Webster Styles up there interviewing his people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
called Blurred
Con.
Yeah, Blurred Con, Black Nerd Con convention. Yep.
Yeah. That's my goal. I want to start creating those, like maybe take a year, and create a good amount, maybe inventory. Like enough inventory to go up there. And Javen is already like, you created Dragon Ball Z, you know I'm on that. Like, I got you, babe. So, and I don't have it displayed right now, but I actually have I made some AKA Crocs. So I'm tapping into the Divine Nine world.
Why'd you make AKA Crocs?
I don't know, because I may be one of the first and the finest to be a part of that lovely organization.
Gotcha.
So
understood.
Yes, I actually just went on vacation and I got 5 sets of AKA Crocs ordered that I'll be making in the next couple weeks. With one arm at that, because I have surgery coming up, but I have learned to work with just my left hand. I actually created 2 pairs of Crocs with just my left hand.
I was about to say, are we talking 100 hours here now?
Like, no, I actually adapted when I did 2 custom orders while I had my last surgery, and I'm right-handed, and I had to do everything with my left hand, and I was able to create it within that 6-week time frame that I give everyone, and get them knocked out. So I don't let things hold me back.
Okay. So one thing that stands out is the part when you said pouring into your own cup, and that being your pretty much your therapy outside of work and everything else. And then with that, having a LLC, so actually official business and everything else. So you're an entrepreneur in this case. What is a piece of advice that you would give to anyone that wants to dive into that entrepreneurial pool?
I would say soak up the knowledge that's around you. Tap into those resources that you have already there. And not for nothing, but Sean has been a big part of getting this launched and on track. He has been a great sounding board. He's given me a lot of advice because he's been there. He has that experience and it's helpful. So when you're able to tap into those resources that you have around you, listen, actively listen and take that in.
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Earl? You got anything?
Support is key. Yeah.
Nah, not this go around.
So it's one of those things, just being on the same page, just to piggyback on what you were saying. It's key, especially within the entrepreneur's mind, because it's different. We discussed this plenty of episodes. An entrepreneur's mind is different than anybody else's mind out there. It never turns off. It's very hard to put a switch. So with you having so many different businesses, as we discussed, how do you kind of divvy up time between all of them, to be very honest with you, when they say that work-life balance thing, even though some of that doesn't exist?
So unfortunately right now I'm not really doing any party decorating, so that frees me up for more time to do the Crocs. But as a mother, as a person who works the 9 to 5, as a partner, I'm actually really well with organizing and time management. And I really just try to stick with my timelines. Like I'm only going to work 4 hours on this after work. And then after that, I have A, B, and C that I need to do. It's just, I really prioritize what I need to do, and I have my time management. So that's really it.
As I mean, I already know your business is going to blow up, Shuaib. So, with that being said, the demand is going to be higher. So, I guess how will you acclimate to the demands when you have bulk orders, especially if you're talking about tapping into, that sorority life, and you get these lines that got 20, 30 people.
Listen, I know.
What do you? How will you? How will you combat that? Pretty much.
So, I'm going to have to see when I get there. Like right now is my first time that I got a bulk order. I have 5 orders. I'll be working on them all at one time. I'm going to have to tap into my analyst side of things and, manage my time well. And also just be honest. Just be honest with everybody. I'm one person with 2 hands and I'm a mom. I have to, if it takes me a little longer, it takes me longer. But I always tell my clients it's worth the wait. Like it may take me a little longer, but you're going to get what you paid for and you're going to love it and it's going to be worth the wait. So I am also limiting how many orders I take a month, only because I don't want to disappoint people and have people waiting on me 6-7 months. So I do limit to 5 custom orders a month on top of the 1 custom theme order I do every month.
Yeah, that's smart. Because I look at it like this, like an artist, right? You know what I'm saying? They commission, a piece of art. They can't do it in bulk, because a lot of it is a one of a kind, and it, and it takes away from the artistry, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. So I think that piece is what's going to make people want it even more. It's like, oh shoot, it's this custom, especially and it's it takes time. It's one of one, you know what I'm saying? Like this can't be duplicated. Like, yeah, I need that. And especially in Greek life, everybody wants that thing that nobody else has. You know what I'm saying? So you got a big avenue there.
Yeah. And I'm actually trying to look for my signature bead. Like I want a bead that I put on every single Croc as my signature, like the artist does on the bottom of his paintings, or a graphic designer, So I just started looking. I was supposed to be on vacation, relaxing, and I'm over here taking orders and pricing out quotes and looking up beads to try to get my one signature. But I'm gonna find it. If anybody out there knows where I can get
that reimburses you for the vacation though.
Listen, I was blessed that I actually left with more than what I paid for the vacation based on the orders that I got while I was there. So I was like, hey, I may have lost at the casino, but I won at life. So I'm good. They definitely took my money on the casino.
There you go.
So as a person who has began projects and
Yeah.
had set expectations of whatever that particular creation was, and then having been met with disappointment because it didn't gain the traction that you thought it should or it would. And you know, the inevitable folks that you do know, but like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna get with you. We all been through that. Yeah, I'm gonna get whether you're working something like that. How did you overcome the aspect that, man, I put all this time in. I think I really have a really good product, especially in this day and age. You know, you have people who are doing all types of things. And how come they're getting the attention that I'm not? How do you battle that? Or how do you overcome that and then still continue, you know, with the work?
Well, the first thing I started implementing was a consultation fee. Right there, that weeds out who's serious, who's actually going to take the time to talk to me, and then the consultation fee goes towards the total price of your order. So then, if you're real about that, then okay, cool. I know that you're going to stick with me. Then, if someone doesn't, it's a lesson learned. It's all I can do is take what I've learned and keep it moving to the next one, because I'm not going to block my blessing. I got to keep going. There's going to be more people who's going to want things. There's going to be someone out there who's going to be serious. So you just got to kind of take that L, shake it off, and keep going.
I like it. Shout out to Samandy who put that consultation
Yes.
word into my head years and years ago. She's a graphic artist, great graphic artist who actually has done cover art for my projects there. And the one thing she always said, and we would talk about all the time, is like, look, that consultation fee is right in it just for my time, because my time is worth the energy there. And then at that point, if you start down that path, then more times than not, you're going to stick with the process all the way through. If you don't,
Absolutely.
well, at least I got paid for my time. So
Yeah, because sometimes when I'm researching to give people quotes or to get that vision out that they're explaining to me, it could take me a day or two just to research the materials, to come up with the design in my head. So after 2 days, I'm researching and I give you a quote, and then you say, "Now never mind, that's too expensive." It kind of stings, but I can't control what other people do. All I can control is myself, and I just got to keep moving.
Yes, I'm with it. Of course, this is the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Our special guest Naty of Sparkled by Naty Custom Crocs. Make sure you hit her up on Instagram at sparkled_by_Naty on Instagram and check out all of the dope custom pieces. Now, of course, this is the Hot Seat Podcast, so we talk about stuff. It's unfiltered conversation all the time. So while we love the Crocs, we also want to get your insight on things that are happening in this world. And what better way to transition into in and out of this, if there is a transition.
There is none.
It's not. So over the last several weeks, there's been a lot of coverage around the Cassie, Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, love. I don't know. But it came down to a point to where, if you really were paying attention to the story, that she was on the verge of releasing a book. That got squashed, and to the point she went in and all of a sudden she filed, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, she filed charges or were about to file charges.
Before that, she asked for $30 million from him.
Gotcha. Yeah, that part too. But did she actually file charges, right? Oh, they went to go file charges? Yeah, she did file charges. Yeah.
No. So basically, long story short, she was going to do a book.
Right.
And then went about, hey, I'm going to put some stuff out in this book, so you can pay me $30 million. Then to the point of him saying no, I take it as, nobody knows specifically, but I take it as you ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna do nothing. Then she called it bluff. She jumped out there, she filed the charges. All of a sudden, right after filing the charges, the very next day, everything was settled. I don't know if she got the 30 million. But if you go through those charges, and this is what we were discussing over the weekend, if you go through those charges, there's some things that's going to leave your mouth open. You're going to be like, whoa, like this is crazy. And then there's some things in those charges that go so deep that I don't even know how they file some of the stuff, because some of it has absolutely nothing to do with her. So I know we'll get deeper into it, but
Right.
yeah, there was a lot of stuff in those charges. Let's just put it that way.
And I want to be fair, because I want to present it in a way that it doesn't come out like we're siding one side in result of this.
Right.
At the end of the day, if anybody been paying attention, what you have, Cassie and Sean Combs were a item for years, like for decades,
off and on
plus.
for years. Yeah.
Off and on. And at one point, I guess it came to it, they broke up, stuff that happened along the way. And quote, the settlement that Dave was speaking about was Cassie saying, quote, I have decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control. I want to thank my family, fans, lawyers for their unwavering support, end quote. Her last name is Ventura. And then on Diddy's side, quote, we have decided to resolve the matter amicably. Combs said in his own statement, I wish
that were agreed upon
between each other. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. And what you take from this is, because we're not here to litigate who's right, who's wrong. You can, if you want to really, really get into that, you can go read it and, get caught into that rabbit hole. But we want to bring it back because it's something that you hear about a lot, not only on a celebrity front, but in day-to-day life. And you see the caption if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, you're listening on all the other podcast platforms, is unhealthy relationships, aka the proverbial toxic relationships. From the outside looking in, more times than not, you may see two people that look like they are doing just fine, or it may play out right in front of you, whichever way it may go. And we all have that family member or those friends or something like that you want to tell them, hey, y'all, why don't y'all just let it go? And then they be like, yeah, and it's off and on. You probably had venting sessions and so forth and so on. But for whatever reason, the power of the mental keeps pulling people back together. And sometimes it doesn't end well. Just call it what it is. Sometimes it doesn't end well at all, whether it ends up with someone, in this case, potentially having some really damaging charges that can change lives on both sides. And unfortunately, you have cases where it ends up some life being ended, whether it's by their own hand or taking someone else's. We heard those stories. So from you all, I want to just get your insight on, and it doesn't have to be so much as Diddy and Cassie, but just like the effect of unhealthy relationships, and whether it be self-reflection or just advice in some type of capacity. What's your take on this type of stuff?
Ladies first.
I always say you need, when someone shows you their true colors, believe them the first time and get out. I unfortunately had to learn that the hard way myself. And it can take a part of you that you'll never get back. So definitely believe people when they show you who they are and get out. It ain't worth staying for the mental health for the children or this is what I'm comfortable with. It's not worth it. Life is way too short to stay somewhere that you're not valued, that you're not respected or loved the way you need to be loved. So, yeah.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I have questions here.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, part of me was like, and I don't even like saying it like that. I'm like, well, why? I'm thinking like, why does she stay so long? But then I can understand why. Then I remember I was having this conversation with Dave, and not saying that Dave didn't, he didn't, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Not saying that Dave was like, I think I was kind of pulling more on the Cassie side, and And I think you was just coming at it from the stance of, well, you was not saying you was pulling on Diddy's side, but you was trying to like just let me think.
It's the devil advocate thing.
Yeah, right.
Because there's still
right. And I think my point of why I was kind of pushing more so for Cassie, because I said, well, one, Diddy ain't no angel. You know what I'm saying? He's done a lot of foul ass shit. So just seeing his track record, like I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he actually did some shit like this. Two, I don't give a fuck what his lawyer said. This is a mission. You went to if I didn't do something, I'm not paying 10, 5, 50. I'm not paying none of that shit.
Right.
If I didn't do that, I'm going to pay my money because I know I got it to go get my lawyer to fight that I didn't do it. So, in my opinion, I think he did this shit. You know what I'm saying?
I also think about the age too. They started dating when she was like 19. It's like that grooming type stuff, and then you're in such a world where you're a celebrity. You're around a whole bunch of different people. You're young. You're very
naive.
Naive.
Impressionable. Big word.
In that type of environment, so I was believing he had done it too, especially how adamant she was. About,
I also think she had other dirt on his ass, like you know what I'm saying.
Well, that's the pillow talk of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that now that shit might not have held up in court. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it would have just put some of his dirt out there. But that didn't have any means. That didn't have anything to do with the actual case. But I felt like he was like, nah, so I can't have this shit coming out. Let me go ahead. I'll give her probably half of what she was asking for and call it a day.
And weren't they trying to do like I'm sorry.
No.
Weren't they trying to do like a documentary on him like they did with R. Kelly too? So now that makes me think about a lot of things that are coming out.
There's things out there about that. You're talking about like the Surviving Diddy stuff.
Yeah, the Surviving Diddy. Mm-hmm.
So those things are out there. And to be honest with you, not to get this deep into it, but even on the R. Kelly side, that a lot of that is a money grab because I can go so deep on even that side of things. Because I've always said, while he's definitely not innocent, there's a lot of other parts that never get brought up. There's a lot of people that were involved in that.
The enablers.
And for one person to only go down for certain parents to drop you.
I was just about to say parents.
You get what I mean? Like, so that's why I said I can get real deep on that side. It's not, sitting up there saying that he didn't do it. And it's kind of how I feel on the Diddy side. So I'm going to start off with something that's actually pun intended. You'll see what I mean by it. It's all money, power, respect. It's all money, power, respect. So on the money side of things, I know it's easy for us to say that, since he paid, it seems like he's guilty.
Right.
And I'm not saying he's not. But sometimes they do it because they got more to lose. They'll throw whatever money out there just to shut the whole thing down because what we discussed over the weekend, Jonathan Majors is going through it right now. The actor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he comes out innocent or guilty, he's guilty because he lost so much. It's already in a public perception to some people that he'll never recover from where he's at. So once again, not to say that anybody's innocent or guilty in this, but some people do just, you know what? I ain't even going through this stuff. Here you go. Just push it to the side. Now here's where the power thing comes in. People of a Diddy status and other people that I can easily throw on up there, there's no consequences. At least they feel there's none. They're above the law. Shoot, they pay the law. So they're their own law. And when you're dealing with somebody like a Cassie or just other individuals that are out there, it's easy for us from the outside, what you started with, Earl, and go, yeah, well, this person should have been out. Right. Sometimes you're so mentally and physically beat down, it's all you know. Mm-hmm. It's all you know. They taught you everything. Hell, you'll hear horror stories about Aaliyah, not even just with the R. Kelly stuff. There's deeper stuff.
You get that Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're stuck. Like You know, this is what I know, whether it's good or bad. This is what I know. I don't know what's out there. I'm not comfortable with what's out there. It's the same way mindset wise and how your mind gets toyed with, where they always talk about there needs to be a transition from like prison to outside. Because you're so stuck in that mindset. When you get out there, 9 times out of 10, you're going to commit something to be right back in there. Not because you wanted to commit something, just because you want to get back in.
That's all you know.
You're scared of out here. You know, what's the movie? Shawshank Redemption.
Yep, exactly.
That's what it was. So when we look at these things, that's why I say we got to approach this deeper than just Diddy and Cassie. It's that money, power, respect, because they do all that and they know they're still getting respected anyway.
But you know what?
They're still that top name. They still people are answering to them. Still things are going to get sold, and it's the world that we live in.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. There is that, you know, he does have that, but also remember the other ace in the hole is he's still black. You know what I'm saying? So that shit only goes but so far. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, you know what I'm saying, you get the right shit, yo, you can go down too. You know what I mean? And I also feel like that's why it was just like, yo, let me cool out. I think the other thing that you said too, when you brought up like Jonathan Majors, right?
Mm-hmm.
When all of that shit came out, and after a while, people started to be like, oh, yo, Jonathan Majors is he's crazy. Like, it was his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you started seeing
X's jumping out there,
you got random people talking about he's been a mean guy all the time. So then you end up, you know, you find out, you like, yo, more information coming out. He's telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? Now,
but you think that?
No, information came out that proved
No. I'm saying you think he's telling the truth. I'm telling you he's permanently stained.
No, I know that. Yeah. I know that, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that knowing that, then he go back and file like a defamation suit against her.
Yeah.
So like right there, if you're doing some shit like that, that to you is saying, you know what, I know I didn't do this shit, so I'm about to go fight that shit. I know the damage is already done.
I see what you're saying.
I know this shit is already despite what I do, people are gonna always associate me with that. It is what it is. But with Puffy, and this is what I'm going back to, I'm like, yo, if you didn't do that shit, fuck that. I'm about to go spend this money to fight my to clear my name. Now I know it's already going to be a bad look. It's already going to be a stain on it. But at the end of the day, I'm about to prove to y'all that I ain't do that shit.
And that's the part that I would say the most fearful thing in these type of cases. The NFL is going through it right now with John Gruden is discovery. Mm-hmm. You get to the point of discovery, it's stuff, to you guys' point, that comes out that has nothing to do with the original case. They start digging into the past. Exactly. Yep. And to be perfectly honest, the fact that you may look like some people may look like, well, you know, Diddy, you know, he escaped this one. No, he really didn't. Actually, in this case,
no, he didn't.
Cassie won in this case for the fact that he didn't go the route that you went, Earl, that you're talking about, Earl. So the settlement's out there. But now what's happened? The fact that most people are going to read the charges in that case, or the thing that the charge that she filed in there, they're already going to convict them in the court of public opinion already. And then add on to the top of what you said earlier, that Sean Combs already has a very checkered past in a lot of areas.
But imagine if there was a case.
Right. And that's the thing. So now,
and that's why he was like, nah, let me pay you this money, right? So you could chill out.
Right. His credibility has always been kind of like, but he sits in one of those spaces where they were like, yeah, we know that, but it ain't really happened. Hell, for the longest time, people knew that Weinstein did what the hell he did until it all came tumbling down. The thing about now is, I saw somebody point out something about the Me Too situation. If this had happened during that stretch, we might be having a whole different conversation, because it was Weinstein, it was Bill Cosby. Hell, throw R. Kelly in there. Throw what's the actor that was in he was in the movie Outbreak, and he was also in Kevin Spacey. He was in part of that joint there, and and then even the that actor that married his daughter or some crazy shit. You know what I'm talking about? I forget his who.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't he like a movie producer or something, or
he was
director or
a
something?
Woody Allen. Woody Allen.
Allen.
Yeah, it's that whole stretch. Now, does that mean she? Well, I'm assuming because they haven't really let out any detail. I'm assuming there's some NDAs or something that came out of this.
Oh,
I'm assuming
absolutely. That's his MO.
that shuts this down. But now the conversation around the water cooler or these all white parties is because you already hear it becomes a joke in those memes, but also now it's like, hey, don't go to that Diddy party because it adds a little bit more,
But you know
legitimacy
why?
to that.
But you know why, like, and I hate to say it like this, the reason why this really didn't get, because you was talking about like the Me Too movement, the reason why this shit didn't get that type of notice, because one, I don't think people really, I hate to say it, like, I don't think people really cared too much. Two, I think the reason why people didn't care too much is because there wasn't actually any like proof. Like, I'm talking about like graphic or video proof. You know what I'm saying?
Or
people,
just something.
One
small thing. Yeah, one small thing. Yeah.
The only thing that made people say, you know what, like I can believe that shit is just because of his past. You know what I'm saying? But now, had there been like some kind of proof, then that shit would have, or it would have been, I would have said people would have actually like added more attention to this if she would say, you know what, fuck that shit, we going to court. Then it'd have been like, oh, okay. Now this is on TMZ.
So fast.
Yeah.
But that's why she was also tying in all the other stuff that had nothing to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To make it seem credible in that sense. Like I said, not picking a side, but when you're talking about like hits on Suge Knight, stuff like that, nothing to do with you, but it's in your filing.
No, I don't think I don't think it necessarily made it credible. I just think that like she knew that he was going to bite if I put some shit in his past. Like
no. But that's what I'm saying. This was deeper than just a him and her thing. Mm-hmm. This was pillow talk too. This was, I know stuff about you. Right. So front if you want to.
Like, fuck that. I was there.
All this is coming out.
Yeah, like I got your ass.
I'm gonna end it just like this. Go research Kid Cudi's car getting blown up. That's all you need to talk about.
Mad shit. They said Wale was dangled over the balcony because he was because he was trying to holler at Cassie apparently, and she, like
it's a lot.
I wonder if Wale wants to admit that.
Shit, I would.
Diddy dangling your mind.
My office hours are.
It's not funny.
9.
That's what I.
He couldn't have no hard song at all. Like, bro, Diddy dangled your mind.
Right.
Pretty girls are so good too. I swear. This is the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Our special guest today, Naty of Sparkle by Naty. Again, not another way you could transition from one thing to the next, but we are in that season right now, and I will absolutely say that we're all thankful that we're not in Diddy's shoes, at least on that part. I mean, I'll take the money part. That being the case, man, this time of year, a lot of people are in spaces now that whether it's financial, it's family. I mean, you got Ukraine and you got Palestine and Israel and Gaza, and you still got the people out in Maui. You got, we live around the DMV in this area. It's so many things right now that are taken for granted. So that being said, before we let Naty go, we want to let you start, and whether you believe in, whether you celebrate Thanksgiving or not, this type of season gives you reasons to be thankful for something. So that being the case, Naty, what are you thankful for?
Life and family. That's always my two. Life is short, man. I got people I know, my family that I'm very close to, struggling with health issues that I'm thankful they're still here. And even when I was on vacation, I came back to an email that someone had took their life at my job, and it makes you reflect and just say, I'm just glad that I have the family who has surrounded me, who loves me, and for being here, being on this earth. I'm not ready to go.
What you got, Earl?
Yeah, I concur, but definitely thankful for my family, pretty much, my life and things of that nature. But I think I want to also kind of put this out there too. A lot of people may not think of like, be thinking about it in this capacity. I'm actually thankful for the mistakes, um, and the trials and the tribulations. It sucks and things in that nature. Especially like with loss and just ailments and things in that nature. But what you gain from it is something even bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like especially if you come out of that, like you learn that you're resilient. You're appreciative of more things. You know what I'm saying? Because you went through that stuff. So, and then definitely too, especially in the field that I'm in, working with kids, especially a lot of kids is disenfranchised and going through different stuff. It's like, I see what they going through, and it's hard for me to complain about the little bullshit, when I see what they got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So, yeah, I'm thankful for a lot.
I'm with you, man. Um, Absolutely, family is what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for my wonderful fiance and my three kids. I got a hell of a surprise. I know I said it on a couple episodes ago. My daughter, my oldest daughter, came in and surprised me in the middle of the night as she was on her way from her training onto her first duty station, and it was a great time. I'm so thankful to see where her and my son are, and the little one too. It's just a thankful place there, and to Earl's point, thankful for the mistakes, so many mistakes, but being able to learn from them and apply those lessons to make each day better, and understand that there probably will be more mistakes, but just try to lessen them. I'm insanely thankful for this platform that we created and these brothers, because they keep me sane outside of Naty. They all keep me sane because I set such high expectations for what we do that I can't lie. Um, it sometimes it's gotten the best of me, because I believe that it deserved more, and they help keep me grounded, to say, hey, in due time. It's just that's probably the competitive spirit. It's probably me looking at the amount of bullshit that permeates the world. It's a big word for you, Earl. The that is just out there. We take in so much really bad content. It's just like bad food. And I know we have our moments. We have our Taco Bell nights. We have our McRib nights and stuff like that. Um, but every once in a while, and a lot of times, you need to cleanse that stuff from you. And just like it says, you are what you eat. It's You are what you consume. And I'm thankful for the folks that remind me that we are actually doing something good with this pod and what we continue to do. And so whenever I get to those moments, I feel like, man, this number just didn't hit like it want, or this show didn't get the views, or I get turned down, trying to solicit a newer sponsor or support. I'm reminded that I'm thankful to have this, um, and share it with my family and my brothers, and understand that, what we're doing is a success. I mean, 3 years in, and we still are dedicated week after week, then show after show, multiple shows, hours on end, time, and then seeing the impact that it has on other people. I could not have dreamed of anything bigger, to be perfectly honest. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Man, y'all said a lot. Um, I'm thankful for time. Um, a lot of it we take for granted. I used to always take it for granted, and I've learned from, getting older and feeling that getting up pain
Mm-hmm.
even more, that you got to be thankful that you got up. My pops used to always say, if you got something to complain about, you started off right. because that means
Right.
you're alive.
Right.
You know, and when you start thinking in that fashion, you start putting a formula to time because you want to fulfill everything that you want within that minute, within that hour, within that day, within that week. You start concentrating on it, and you don't want anything to just pass you by. So time in the way of, you know, the greatest gift I have is sitting back and watching my son get older. It's like seeing the personality come in, seeing, you know, his growth. You know, he gets it from his daddy. Seeing, hey, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. My time now, my time. But you know, just seeing his ways, because if anybody has a question about parenthood, you know, yes, it's the hardest job that's out there, hands down. But it's the most, how can I say it? It's the most fulfilling thing ever.
Absolutely.
Ever. If you just let your heart be open to it, you know, I know a lot of us focus on, man, I got to get this money together and I got to do this and I got to do that. There's no book on it. It's just experiences. No one can tell you how to raise your own child because everybody's different. And every experience is going to be different. And everything that they experience is going to be different. But I'm going to tell you, if you're just there for them and just listen, I mean, heck, Earl was just down here having a conversation with my son and they going back and forth. And you could just see the growth on him, like just the maturity of what he was talking about. And I'm sitting back, I'm like, man. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that I'm just always in awe and light in time. I throw time out there again because just the fact of my wife, man, my best friend, my ace boo cool, you know, that you found your better half. And we'll definitely get into more of this when y'all give y'all nuptials and things. But you found your better half when you don't have to change a thing. And I'm going to say that again. When you do not have to change a thing, you're you. You know where I'm going with this, Sean. When I gave this advice to somebody, when you have to be an actor,
right,
it only lasts for so long, and you will never be happy. So if you ever want to know the secret about a long-lasting relationship, people give you all the advice in the world. And yes, communication and all those things and honesty is all in there. But I'm telling you, if you feel like you physically and mentally have to change so much for a person that you don't even feel like you're you, it's not going to work.
Right.
That's where the trust and the communication comes from. Everybody messes up. Everybody messes up. So all that perfect stuff and nothing happens over here. We never got in an argument like Jerry Jones was trying to say to Jimmy Johnson with that Ring of Honor thing. We'll talk about that on Football Talk. But yeah, we never got in an argument. Yeah, right. All right. Right. There's nothing perfect out there, but there are things that are perfect for you. Going back to time for a moment, watching what my mom is going through right now. For those of you that don't know, my mom is suffering from early stage dementia. And it's one of the hardest things I've had to go through. And because you're watching someone's memory, specifically of yourself, slip away every moment while you're talking to them. And I call it like a slow death, if I'm being blunt. But I'm not trying to sound so morbid on it. I'm telling you that because I appreciate it in a way. Because, and I think I've given this advice before, one of the realest things that you can ever do in life is tap into the minds of older people. Right. And ask them questions and shut the fuck up. That's it. You want to learn the best about history? No history book is going to tell you shit that they went through. Like they can tell you. I can read books on civil rights movements and stuff like that I didn't get to live through. She can tell me. She can give me the whole breakdown because she lived it. So that's another part of time where I'm just like, I'm taking it in every time I'm around her. just getting whatever bit of knowledge, whatever bit of history, so I can pass it on, so I can be that vessel to pass on. So, you know, while it's hard watching everything that's going on right now, I'm blessed because for it to go on, she's still here. You get what I mean? That's the bright light that's still shining in that moment. I'm definitely thankful for y'all. This is a form of therapy for me, as you see, because these are things normally you just hold in, and you hold it in until you just go crazy with it. So it's definitely a form of therapy for me, and you know, I think our listeners, you know, we can thank each other, but we got a show because we got listeners. We got people that, you know, tap in and give their comments and things like that, and show their loyalty to us. I thank our better halves once again because they allow us to have the time to do it. You know, some people won't do that.
Right.
You know, they won't understand why the hell you getting on every week. What the hell you got to talk about for an hour or two? You talking about the same shit. Get the hell on off there. Nothing happened this week. so I understand how it goes, but just like Naty was saying earlier, that backing, that support, it's key. So that's why I bring it back around to that whole mindset and entrepreneurship and things like that. So a lot of times we don't visualize our dreams because nobody like lifts us up to see it, you know?
Right.
So when you have that, that's key. So all my surroundings, whether it's the haters or whether it's the people that are riding along with me, I appreciate all that shit. Like Kat said, when you got enough haters, you know you're doing something right?
You need to try to get
on
10 more. You need 10
Right.
more.
That's
you
it.
Got 20,
That's
get
it.
30.
So I ended off with that, but I'm telling you, if you start concentrating more on time and how valuable it is, I'm telling you, you'll live a much more fruitful life. It has changed for me. And it starts with your mindset. So appreciate you.
Man. Of course, this is the Hot Seat Podcast, man, with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave, our special guest, Naty of Sparkle by Naty here. What are you guys thankful for? Make sure you guys add that into our Instagram or YouTube comments himself. Before we let Naty go, you know, we got to make sure you plug where the folks can find you, where they can look at the creative artwork, if they want to sit down for a consultation or whatever they want to do to follow the brand. The floor is yours.
You can get me on IG at sparkled_by_Naty and TikTok at PYT0208. You can find me there, and I'll be there. DM me, message me, IM me, send a smoke signal. I'll get you back.
Hold on. Watch out them DMs. Calm down, man. Again, man. Sparkle by Naty, man. Go ahead and check them out. They are some dope. I'm wearing Crocs right now, by the way. So just let you know, these things are mad comfortable. So we're gonna bid a temporary farewell tonight, Naty. Enjoy the rest of the night. We appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you
so
for having me.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Everybody
it.
have a good night.
You too.
All right, you too.
This is the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Episode 131, brother. We back with you guys here, man. Let's get some more talking. I was trying to skate around this one, but there was I know my guy. I prepared myself. I got Teflon skin for this conversation, and it's okay. It's all right. So something that the world, can't even lie, had been waiting for I don't know, at least 15 years, probably. I didn't even look it up. But
17.
17. Andre Benjamin, aka Andre 3000. Announced a little bit on he was dropping a new album. The world was like, hell yeah. Of course, if you guys have listened to his verse off of Killer Mike's album, also off of his thing that he did on Kanye's Donda. And I don't think there was anything else prior to that. It might have been. I'm not even sure. But he dropped a album and he gave a precursor, or actually a warning that there was no bars. And people took that as, okay, no bars. We can take it. You know, maybe it's a spoken word, something like that. Yeah, you know, something like that. Then he dropped New Blue Sun. I ain't gonna lie, I had it pre-added. I was listening to it at midnight after one, and I listened to the whole thing. And when he said it was no bars, no verses, there was nothing. And he did say, it's mainly me playing multiple flutes and stuff like that. He was literally talking about playing flutes. So that being the case, gentlemen.
So
no. Hold on a second, Earl.
What's that?
I want the world to hear your take.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Don't put it on us. I want the
Right.
world to hear your take.
All right, so if you
Let
if
me
you
mute
come
myself out.
Me too.
oh my god. So going into it, reading the caption on it, because I watched the interview that he did, and I read the not the cover art, but whatever the label portion on it, and I'm reading it, and when I read it, and this is not hindsight, this is literally what I believed at the time. I read it and I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be what nobody really thinks this is. A complete instrumental piece. But if you watch the last several years and you've seen different videos and stuff with Andre on it, I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna carry like you think it will be. But hey, look, I'm an Andre 3000 fan, and I am an avid musician through and through. I listen to everything from Yo-Yo Ma, all type of the classical musicians, jazz, of course, stuff like that. So I went and listened to it when it dropped 12:01 that night. And first of all, I didn't expect it to be as long as it was for only being, I think, 8 or 9 tracks. Hour and a half, hour 28 minutes. So I listened to it. I know I was the first person to listen to it out of our crew. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, they about to fire my ass up about this. Or in general, because I didn't go out and say, you got to listen out and say, it is what it was. But me personally, from a person who meditates quite a bit and stuff like that, and just listening to the sonic aspect of it, I liked it. I listened to it in my headphones. So once I got past the far part, it was just like, because I was hoping that maybe there would have been some type of, whether spoken word, something like that. It wasn't. I was like, well, shit. But at that point, I found myself listening to the technical aspect of it. And that was just me. That's just me. To each his own, man.
You done?
I said for him to go first.
You done?
I'm good. This one.
All right, so let me start here. Just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I listened to the likes of Robert Glasper and things of that nature. You said Yo-Yo Ma and all of that. Mm-hmm. You know the difference between listening to them and this motherfucker? That's what they do, right?
No, I got you.
You wouldn't want to hear Yo-Yo Ma fucking rapping, right? I don't want to hear this motherfucker playing the flute. Okay, let's leave from that.
No, I got you. I'm with you.
Next thing. It would have been nice to kind of get like a heads up that this is what this was going to be. If you saw the interview, he said I'm doing no bars. But that's if you saw the interview. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I forget what the interview. I think I seen a snippet of it.
Yeah.
But then
I watched it.
But then you're like, all right, no bars. I'm just thinking, all right, cool. He ain't rapping. I'm gonna get a love below. That's cool too. I'm with that. Nah. So let me take you through my day. So Friday, the 17th, this album dropped.
He cussed at me, by the way. So I like
a 45-minute drive for me to get from my job to work. And I knew I was going out to Maryland to come with y'all, kick it with y'all. I was so excited because that was gonna be my album on the ride. Then I was like, you know what? Let me just hear a little snippet. Turned on the first track. I was like, okay. Minute in, I'm like, it's a little cool, little mellow intro. All right. 2 minutes go. I'm like, damn, that's a long ass intro. All right. 3 minutes. I'm like, damn, wait a minute. I look at the end, it was like, oh, this shit was 11 minutes. I was like, all right, maybe it's just a long ass intro because it's a long ass song. Mm-hmm. I think I fast forwarded to about the 5-minute mark. I still hear this motherfucker playing flute. I said, nah, something ain't right. I looked at the fucking the name of the album. I was like, I just wanted to make sure this was the right thing. I went back. I said, you know, we had 6 minutes. Motherfucker still playing the flute. I go to about 9 minutes. I said, this nigga still playing the flute. Let me go to the second track because maybe that was just the intro. I'm like, I'm kind of tight because he got 8 tracks and he already wasted the first one. It's cool. It's cool. He better drop some heat. Second one, I'm like, the fuck? So I said, I went through the last track. I was like, what the fuck? So this is the album? Yeah, when I tell you I was so fucking disappointed because I ain't wait 17 fucking years to hear that bullshit. Then to make to make matters worse, when you gotta hear him snapping on features, on Kanye shit, he's snapping on Killer Mike shit, and then you gonna sit up here and say, yo, you didn't have any inspiration? The fuck? So you had inspiration for them shits. Why didn't you play the flute on their shit? Play the flute on their shit and bring the rap to your shit. I'm done, yo. Go ahead, Dave.
This thing on?
It's so.
So let's start here.
Take your time.
Ready? I swear I really wanted to make a rap album, right? I just can't believe it. But this is literally the way the wind blew me this time. Okay. The slang word pussy rolls off the tongue with far better ease than the proper word vagina.
Oh shit.
Do you agree? Bars. That night in Hawaii when I turned into a panther and started making these low register purring tones that I couldn't control. Shit was wild. I can't even go no further. Well, no. Actually, I can. I got to get to this one. Sorry. Gandhi, Dalai Lama, your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy. You may think that I'm just rambling and speaking some type of poetic word. You might start snapping. No, that's the motherfucking titles to this motherfucking album. If you're disturbed by me reading those titles, that's how disturbed I was listening to this goddamn album. You're speaking to a person that is a die-hard Outkast fan. Okay? Southern Playalistic Cadillac music. AT Aliens. AT Aliens is still something that I bang
that's classic. That's
on
classic.
a regular basis right now today. So I told you, gentlemen, that I started digging a little bit deeper when I saw everything that happened with this album. And the first thing that came to my mind was a whole Lauryn Hill thing all over again.
Talk about it.
And what I mean by that is I stopped thinking about the album and I started thinking about him. And that's the same way I was with Lauryn Hill. Hopefully nothing is wrong, but when I read off those titles and I hear what I heard, and you go watch this man walk around all these different countries and the way that he is and things that he turned down, if you don't know the story with Big Boy and the deal that they had to go do this world tour and what they were going to make and how he had to apologize to Big Boy because he said, I'm just not doing it. But then you wait longer and this is what you put out. But once again, if we would have waited and we hadn't heard anything from him and then he came out with this, maybe that's just the mindset he was in. No, bro, you just released some stuff. So no, no. Save me. I'm hoping nothing's wrong. And I'm being so serious. So serious.
That's fair.
because, you know, I don't think Lauryn Hill ever came back to us. I'm just being real with you. And the reason why I compare it to her is because we're talking about, between the two of the most lyrically profound artists ever, between the both of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I feel that was taken away. By whatever reason, we kind of know a little bit more on Lauren's side of things. But for whatever reason, and I don't see it coming back. I mean, hell, you just saw Lauren spaz out. We were speaking about it at the concert, talking about, better be just glad I'm here, whether I'm late or not. Excuse me?
It sounded like that was a title. That was a title of a track, by the way.
Yeah, it had to be longer than that, though. Yeah, look where the wind blew me.
Right.
But that's where I go with it, and it's such a tragic thought pattern, but we've seen it so many times, and it brings us back to our very first subject when we were talking about Diddy, Cassie, your mental, and all that type of stuff. We've seen so many people on the celebrity and artist status that I don't know what happens, but something clicks off in a way. And I may just be talking right now. I'm not saying that he's gone, because I don't know, and I'm not a doctor for him. He doesn't report to me, nothing like that. But just to see how things have changed so quick in that way, when you just were doing certain things, it seemed like you had a love for it. Hell, I remember you doing an interview talking about how much you gave and put into that verse for Kanye's thing, for Kanye just come back to you and say you gotta change it up, and then you redid the joint and put it out there, but you were like, man, people ain't gonna really hear the thing I really wanted to say about my mom.
Right.
Everybody remembers that. What changed? What changed that quick? And I don't need an answer for it, but that's where my mind went. That's how blown I was. This wasn't just a, oh, God, horrible album, blah, blah, blah. I immediately thought, what the hell is going on? That's exactly what I thought. Maybe it's just, you know, the shit that we're used to in that sense, but that's the first thing that happened. I was like, what? What? And when I started looking over the titles, I'm like, what? You knew people were going to sit there and be like, you're not just playing the flute, like the titles, bro.
You know what I'm perturbed at too, though? The motherfuckers that was sitting up there saying that they really fuck with this shit. And I'm like, yo, people, the comments that I've been reading is like, yo,
I haven't read any comments, so that's yeah.
Well, they were like, this is a good meditation album. Listen, you didn't when Andre 3000 said he's coming out with the album, you wanted a rap album or you wanted something like Love Below. Miss me with the bullshit about like you wanted, like you were happy about this because you wasn't expecting that and you didn't ask for that. You know what I'm saying? Like if Jay-Z was to come out with a fucking jazz album, I would be tight. You know what I'm saying? And he's not, and the motherfucker is not rapping over the jazz like he's playing an instrument. Like I would be fucking tight. Like that's essentially what we got. You know, this motherfucker was waiting for a fucking rap album or a Love Below, and we got a motherfucker playing a flute. And then when you look at videos on YouTube and shit like that, yo, you see him randomly just in fucking just wild places or different places walking around with a flute. Like
playing in the airport.
Yeah. So and you know, all jokes aside, like this is more so frustration. I'm not even joking. This is really frustration. But more so on the side, like I kind of agree with Dave where I'm like, something is off. I'm not going to sit up here and diagnose him with anything because I can't. But something isn't right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I think this is beyond creativity. You know, because me and Dave had this conversation before. I said, you know, you have those artists who I feel like they struggle with their creativity. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they forget what got you here. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you making music. If you're making music and this is your livelihood, yo, I'm sorry, you're putting out a product. You got to cater to the people that's buying and supporting your lifestyle. So, quite frankly, I'm like, if your creativity isn't in the realm of what you've been doing, I don't nobody want to hear that shit. You know what I'm
I
saying?
would have felt different if he would never had those features.
But, yeah,
If he was just gone for 17 years and then came out with this,
shit,
he's in a whole different mental state.
Fine.
But yeah.
But I think me and Dave was talking about, we was like, I said, all right, look, he brought up one. He was like, you just had to we had the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, right? And then I forget how long the hiatus was, but then she comes out with that live album where she was playing the guitar, she was crying, and like I told Dave, I was like, I actually thought it was dope, but for people who was anticipating a miseducation Lauryn Hill, I understand why he was frustrated. Or like music. When music came out with music, he may not be able to sing live and things in that nature, but music can make an album. And I remember, if people really know, they follow him. I forget, I think he had another persona which he was trying to rap, and his name was called The Hustle.
Yeah.
And he put out a whole album, and people was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to hear this shit. Like, I want to hear love and shit like that. I don't want to hear no fucking you rapping. And he was on some shit where he was upset. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, well, this is what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Yeah, he got low. But then
you literally disappeared.
But when he came,
I'm talking about you.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. But then when he came back out with the regular, R&B. Like, even like with D'Angelo. D'Angelo ain't been out in years. He came back with an album. The album was pretty decent. Was pretty good. Like, I thought the instrumentation was good and stuff like that. But it was like, the fuck is you saying? Like, it was like mumble.
Let me push back on that, because I understand the expectations for that, and I'm with that. If he had took the stance that, because there's been artists who, like you just gave examples, some great ones here, that I think music will probably be the one that stands out the most. Because if I recall, when he took that lane, he got upset that people didn't accept it.
Yes.
Yeah, and that part right there was like that part right there. It was for me. I'm like, look, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. In Andre's case, if he's just dropping it here to release it, this case there, and it's like, hey, do with it as you may, then in my opinion, you just respect it for what it is. Yes, everybody's disappointed that it was not what we expect. Hell, I was disappointed that I got no words off of it at all. And just like you, Earl, I ain't gonna even lie, as I'm listening to it and it's like leading up, because I'm a big fan of intros. You know how big I am about intros. And I'm listening to as it build up until I realize what it really is, that I could hear at the time, and maybe it's just me, I could hear him like, he's going to like whatever I could just, maybe because I've been listening too much, I can hear he's about to do something on this. Then when it's played through, I think I got past the part. I'm like, well, this ain't what it is, but then at that point, I'm listening to it for a different purpose at that point. I like the tones and stuff like that. Again, this is meditation type music. I'm not saying that I'm not going to go out talking about, say, hey, go listen to this, because you can go download a plethora of things on Apple Music, Spotify, this meditation type music. But I just like this point, if nothing else, just it's almost an experience piece. Again, it's not what nobody expected, and it's not something that's going to be a daily play at all means. But what I will say, that I do expect, one of you might have said it.
I said it. The samples.
So there will be some samples that come out of this. That will be something. And the first person that came to mind that I can hear, whether they sample it or they use it and go over it, I hear immediately a J. Cole just doing something just off of whatever. Like, because if you just take it from that as a basic instrumental and then you imagine that artist over it, it creates a really dope atmosphere. Yeah. But I'm holding out hope that he releases a deluxe piece of it and comes back and do something. Now, will that happen? Probably not, considering how this came out. But if he does, then
I
kind of
ain't
like
gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you. He kind of older fans for that. Now, the type of person that he is he gonna do that shit? Absolutely not. Like, this motherfucker is walking barefooted playing fucking flutes. Like, he don't give a shit.
But see, here's the thing though. You talk about that. You're just talking about the visuals of that. A person who just did this in a kind of way, it wasn't flutes. Hit Boy did the same thing, but not that. And what I mean by that is he dropped the album. I forget the name of the drum. I was listening to it, and he dropped the instrumentals right after that. But if you listen to his whole thing was on some.
But he's a producer,
right?
Not what though. Andre 3000 is the way he did it. So I'm saying, like
I remember when you said, thing, I remember when you said you did instrumentals too, and I was like, yeah, but
you're a producer.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I expect you to drop an instrumental.
Yeah, Andre is though too, though, and and he actually is a producer.
Hey, Sean, if you came out when you drop your albums, right? I expect, you know what I hear? I expect to hear, like, I can tell where you're at in your life, depending on the content that you're rapping about, right? Mm-hmm. The thing that I anticipate when I hear every album is like, all right, musically, where are you at? You know what I'm saying? What lane are you in musically? You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. Do you stay in, do you stay in the pocket, or do you try to get a little adventurous? But I know at the end of the day, I'm gonna get a rap album. You understand?
I got you. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? It might be a little tones of jazz, some R&B, some pop. Like it might be, just that might change. But I'm going to get a rapper. I was bamboozled, run them up, and hoodwinked with this shit. And like I said, like, as somebody who is a fan, somebody who has been anticipating this shit, you know what I'm saying? I would even rather him do some shit that Jay Electronica did. Where Jay Electronica, it took him forever to come out with this album. But then when he came out with an album, people was upset because it was like, yo, you came out with an album and it wasn't really a solo album. It was damn near Jay-Z album.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad because that shit was hot. You know what I'm saying? But then what he did was, with a couple months later, he put out another album. It was just him, and that shit was tough. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. So I ain't gonna hold my breath, but that would be nice if he.
What I will say is, I think there's gonna be a whole bunch of elementary schools investing into a bunch of recorders. High cross buzz, son. High cross buzz.
But you can't name it. What we playing? The pussy, whatever. The fuck, you can't call it that.
It's 2023. It's the Hot Seed Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. Let's get into some. You can stay around for this, Earl. Some Marvel DC talk.
Oh Jesus!
And I'm gonna come in from an angle. It's just not about just discussing that itself, but I want to, and it's something that came to mind because I knew we were going to talk about this. And what I thought about is something that Martin Scorsese said, and a couple of other directors. I think what was the director for Avatar? James Cameron. And I've seen Quentin Tarantino say it, and a couple of other ones. And to kind of like paraphrase everything, saying they were talking about superhero movie fatigue, and giving their take on, the true art of creating film, which I kind of disagree with. But I will say, with the outside of a great Loki season 2 and a rare couple of films, Batman aside and stuff like that, we have gotten, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, we got kind of like in that lull of, I guess, bad or bad-ish Marvel or specifically DC films. And I guess asking Earl first, from a person who may not be taking in as many comic book films as Dave and I or others are, but the amount that they will put them out, or the ones they do put out, because I know you take your son to see some of these films and stuff like that. What is your overall take of where the comic book films are now compared to what the traditional movie films are?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's fatigue, because honestly, I mean, there's been, even if you're not a Marvel fan, right? And I put myself, I'm somebody who became a Marvel fan, but I'm ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ignorant to a lot of things. It's like I'm a neophyte. But Marvel has come out with some spectacular movies that you don't have to be a fucking fan. And you don't have to know what the fuck is going on to enjoy the hell out of those movies. Like Endgame was one of them. Black Panther was one of them. You know what I'm saying? So because of that and the anticipation, it's like, and now you seen like the Endgame. You seen like the Black Panther. Now somebody like me who was ignorant to Marvel is like, you know what? I want to kind of invest and see, you know, what does this mean? And then when I talk to y'all, like I'm even more intrigued, like, oh shit, oh really? So, you know, and like the best thing about Marvel is the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Because it leads into something else, or what could, you know, what's to come. You know, so I wouldn't say it's fatigue. Like honestly, I think it's a nice realm. And then I felt like too, when you get like those little runs where it's a couple movies coming out, you're excited. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, okay, let me see what this, you know, is this going to be for me who's a neophyte? I'm like, is this going to be another Black Panther? Is it going to be another Endgame? You know, I may not know what the fuck is going on, but I'm anticipating a good movie.
I'm with it.
I'm going to put a little bit of fatigue in there, but not the way that you think.
Okay.
I don't think it's particularly fatigue on comic book movies, whether it's DC or Marvel. I think it's fatigue on movies in general. Nothing's making the money that it was before, you know, COVID. Right. It's just really not. And I think it's just the setup of how things, I mean, hell, when the last time you see a Tom Cruise movie come out and that joint flop like it did? You know what I mean? Like everybody was watching shoot.
What are you talking about?
Because the Tom Cruise movie was the Mission Impossible. That did not do what it was supposed to do. Indiana Jones
did not.
You get what I'm saying? Like this has been, and it's because of the setup, because these things come out and us as watchers, moviegoers, know that it's going to be on TV in 8 weeks.
True. Yeah.
So they're like, why am I putting X amount of dollars? You take a family of 3 or 4 and you got an $80 bill with food and everything and up. And you're seeing it once and you're like, shoot. I mean, hell, everybody got a big screen now. I can feel like I'm at the movies. It ain't like the difference of watching a big screen in the movies and you coming home to a 27-inch or something, and you know what I mean? So everybody's like, oh yeah, I can wait. Now. See, we're just diehard fanatics in certain movies, but trust me, there's certain movies, I'm gonna bring it up. I just wasn't diehard a Marvel fan. I wouldn't have seen the Marvels. Hey, I had no feel to go see the Marvels beside it being a Marvel movie. And I'm a diehard fan. And I just want to be in that moment, in that sense. I want that Dolby Cinema. But once again, I got that set up that I can do in my own house. Mm-hmm. So now I'm getting away from that. And I'm like, shoot, maybe I should just wait. So what did I wait for? Something like a Blue Beetle. And I'm glad I did.
What's that?
So it's DC.
Oh.
So it's out on HBO Max now, and it was in the movies, 2.5 months ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think it's more in the way of the setup, because I remember when things came out in the movies, first of all, it had months of a run in the movies. You know, it would go from the main screen to a side one to now you're only showing it like twice a day. It would run. Mm-hmm. And then 5 months later, that thing would be like on TV and DVDs and stuff. Nah, bro. There's things you can get at the same time when it's in the movie theater show.
But you know what, Dave, you kind of touch on a good point, and this is something that I brought up to y'all the other day. Like, I think the trajectory of movies are in terms of how people watch it is changing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you think about it. Remember when I told y'all the other day, I was like, yo, Denzel Washington got a movie coming out called, where he's playing,
Mm-hmm.
he's depicting
Yep.
Hannibal. And what was crazy is that that's going to be on Netflix.
Yep.
When have you known a Denzel movie, that Denzel starred in that came out on
Right.
Netflix? And honestly speaking, it's smart to come out on Netflix because people watch Netflix. They watch this in the comfort of their home. It's a whole Netflix and chill. You know
And
what
they
I'm
now
saying?
just signed that agreement with the streaming.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't. And in some ways, y'all may disagree. I feel like at some point, movies are going to be a thing of the past. Movies are going to be like blockbusters at some point. Like where people is like, I don't need to go to the movies. I can bring the movies to my house.
It's the experience factor that typically makes movies so dope. It's nothing better. You can do it. You can watch it in your home. You can have people over, but the experience of watching, to your point, a Black Panther or Endgame, watching Spider-Man, Batman in a theater that holds 100, 200 people, strangers, and you guys all have a collective ooh and ah at these different
Mm-hmm.
moments. And for us, it's stuff that we grew up on. If you think back how far we were when watching these films and how badly produced they were. Like, I'm not talking about no Val Kilmer type thing. I'm talking about when you used to watch this. I'm talking about on the Batman side, pre Adam West. But if you guys go look, especially on the Marvel side, go look at some of those Marvel films. And I'm talking about the old Marvel films that look like their costumes came from Party City. You be like, I can see why y'all damn near went bankrupt. Like,
Mhm.
mm, mm. But to your point, to the fatigue, there has been some fatigue because what started to happen was the integrity of the film, I believe, started to be started to become compromised. And it became like, hey, let's see how we can get a quick laugh out of the folks. Or you were seeing so many of the trailers so often, there was nothing to look forward to. Like
True.
the thing that made
True.
Marvel specifically so great is that little 1 minute, and I had to look this up because I'm like, are the trailers getting longer? No, they're just packing in so many of the ooh and ah parts into that 1 minute and 30 seconds, and sometimes 2 minutes, or they'll give you 30 seconds full trailer online that you get to the film and it's all spoiled because there's nothing added to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course if there's a trailer, then more times than not, people are still leaking stuff
Mm-hmm.
that, first of all, I'm trying to figure out in this day and age, how the hell are you still leaking films? Like, I feel like this stuff is intentionally done, considering how this stuff is. And now you get fatigued because you're hearing about this film for, hell, 4 months sometimes. Hell, you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen on Super Bowl? A new trailer for a film, they may not drop until May or June. That's
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, 6 months. And you're going to see it. By the time you get to it, you'll be like, there's no excitement.
Yeah.
Unless
And
you
we
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
and we lived through the bootleg, era.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? Where it was like, even with that, it's like, yo, people still wanted to go to the movie because the
right.
movies was a thing. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
even for young cats, like, yo, the movies, you going out there, you take your little girlfriend to, you know what I'm saying? You meeting up with your people. Like, it was an event. You know what I'm saying? And now it's not the thing. It's like,
Shout out to the movie theater in Linden. We used to get in for $1.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Or
Riverdale for us. Yep.
a
Riverdale,
shout out to the
99
movie
cents.
theater in Irvington where
Yep.
you could get in there for $1. You know what I'm saying? You stay there the whole day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just not an event. And then for somebody like my age, like I'll take my son to the movie theaters because I feel like it's overwhelming for him. It's like it's grandiose because he's
Mm-hmm.
watching it on this big, it's dark, it's loud, so it's big. But then like somebody like me, I can't tell you the last movie I went to. Actually, I'm lying. The last movie I went to was the second Black Panther. And I went and saw that at a matinee where nobody was there. Because now, essentially for me, I'm touching 40. Like, yo, you turn off the lights and you put me in a comfortable seat, my ass is going to sleep. So I
We
cannot
know.
watch the movies. I can't watch the
Show
movies
me know.
in the
Yeah,
evening.
man.
Like, I gotta watch it in the matinee. And real talk, if I'm gonna go ahead and do all of that, I could watch that shit in the comfort of my own. The only reason why I went to go see Black Panther, or I would go see like something like I don't know, Endgame, is because, and I didn't see that in the movie, but because either it was an event because people gassed it up, or
Right.
two, I wanted to see that shit before people fucking ruined it for me.
Right. Yeah. True.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. So
And see,
let's
that's
go ahead.
also, I just want to say this real quick. That's also another thing that kills movies too, because we can't think as if we don't live in a world
The social
of the
media.
social media hate.
Yep.
Right.
And that social media hate can either build up a film or tear it down
Mm-hmm. Tear
before
it
it
down.
even seen
Right.
any type
Right.
of light.
Right.
You know, like you said, Marvel normally doesn't release stuff through their trailers. Hell, they show just about everything for the Marvels because it was hated on so much before it came out that they were like, damn, we got to show all of it. We just get the people in the seats. And that didn't work. You know, the Flash movie was the same way. We got to show all this stuff that normally you would hide back, you know, right in the trailers just to get people in. And that's because when you have things like the Rotten Tomato scores and
Yeah.
them coming out and just bash and bash and bash, and you're like, well,
IGN
damn.
and everybody else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
why I
just
think
want to
this
put that out there.
just go straight to
And
streaming, bro. Like, just cut the movies.
and that's the part. And I know we're talking in Marvel DC talk, but this is really where it is because somewhere, somehow, I don't know when this happened, but it happens in sports as well. The power of media is a gift and a curse because yes, you get a lot of talking heads to talk about it, but now they decide what is going to be a hit and what's not going to be perfectly honest. You just said Rotten Tomatoes, and I think I read something at some point that they and don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure I read this. Either they're owned by one of the film companies or something like that. Like you have to go do your research on it, but I wish Gary was here. They're owned by one of the companies. I don't know if they like a subsidiary or something like that. Which that in itself is a problem. But the fact that you can put in all this time and money into a film. Now, if the film is trash, the film is trash. Fast X was horrible. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't care what the hell Vin Diesel said. That film was just bad. But they created a generation of moviegoers who go specifically for that. But you have films
Rotten
that go ahead.
Tomatoes, 25%, I guess, Warner Brothers and Discovery, 75% NBC Universal.
Right. How?
Right.
So that being the case, stay right there. You said Warner Brothers, right?
Acquired by also hold on. Let me see how up to date this is, but it also says controls in February 2016. I'll see if I find something more up to date. But Rotten Tomatoes and its parent site Flixster were acquired by Fandango.
Yeah. So
which is owned by Comcast.
Right. So you mean to tell me? So you throw in the Warner Brothers and all the other stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
You own part of this. I don't even understand it. So and some you were talking about the Flash. They were killing that and you own. Aren't you doing yourself a disservice? Like I don't understand it. I don't get it. Well, you know what? I do this. I do understand this part. And that this may, in totality, may be the reason why you had strikes and stuff to this day. Because you got the big heads of these companies, you know, they were at the negotiating table with the actors and the writers was like, well, we didn't really make no big profit on this. So, you know, the payout ain't this, that, and the other. I'm just kind of paraphrasing what's going on. But then if you look at that, be like, well, shit, you own a company that really just sabotaged the film you put out. So, yeah, while you guys are taking your big bonuses, you telling these actors and writers and directors and whatever else, these, you know, these associations and whatnot, these unions, yeah, we ain't really make no bread like that. Of course you didn't. You just sabotaged the film itself. See where I'm going with that? It's kind of crazy. And I said that because for the most part, some of these films have been pretty good. I have not watched Blue Beetle. I have not rented Blue Beetle. I was only going to watch it for free because DC has done me dirty outside of Batman. They have done me dirty, and I am the avid DC property fan, but they have done me dirty. And a little birdie told me that because they know how much I despise the DC universe on CW. You can't convince me otherwise. I don't care. Black Lightning gets killed that for me. That was just after that. I was like, nah, bro, I'm good. A little birdie told me that, man, this thing has real CW-ish vibes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it just because I saw it. But the last time I watched on CW, I want to say was probably Smallville. I want to say. I did watch the series Gotham, and even that made me feel some type of way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it, bro. I don't understand it. But tell me about.
Flash was good for a good while though.
Yeah, tell me about. Give me your review on Marvels. Give me your review on the Marvels. I did see the post credit scene, so I know what went down there. But yeah, go ahead.
So the Marvels, like I said, this was something that they had already killed all through the internet. So I wasn't going in with the mindset that this was going to be in what Earl said as far as like endgame type status.
Right.
But once again, I love Marvel, so I said let's go on in there. We go check it out. With the Marvels, without giving things totally away, the three of them mesh very well as far as within the Marvels, the ladies. Work off each other very well. And the person that stole the show to me was Miss Marvel. I'm just going to be honest with you. Between her and her family, if you see Miss Marvel as far as the show that came out on Disney Plus, it was pretty similar to that as far as some of the comedy sense to it. But I love it because she reminds me of like the female version of when Spider-Man was being introduced without everybody knowing her.
Gotcha.
If you get what I mean. Because Spider-Man was so naive, and that's the way he is. He's a child. He was a kid at the time. And so happy to see Iron Man. And that's the vibe I got. She was so happy to see Captain Marvel, that she would do anything. So that's kind of how the movie went with it. But there were a couple of scenes in there that I was like, okay, this could have been taken out. This is real corny. But altogether, was it a good movie? It was decent to me. You know, I don't hate it. I really didn't like Blue Beetle, so they were comparing the two. And then the ending of it is just the thing that really built it up. Between the end of the movie is what is in, and is this a spoiler review?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Is it? Oh, okay. All right. As long as you're fine with it. So at the very end of the movie, before it's even getting to the credits, you see Miss Marvel sitting in a room, and it's all dark, kind of sitting there like Nick Fury, sitting in a chair. And all of a sudden, you see the door open up, and the person that comes walking in is Kate Bishop. And she goes through this, Miss Marvel goes through this whole statement of how the same way Nick Fury did with like Iron Man and all that type of stuff. Like, hey, we're recruiting you for something bigger that's out there and blah, blah, blah. And basically, it's giving you your nod to here comes the Young Avengers. So for people that know that story, it hyped the shit out of me because I knew it was coming. I just didn't know how they were going to do it. I didn't know if they were pushing this back way past Secret Wars and stuff, but it was real neat to me. And then, of course, the cutscene in the credits of Monica Rambeau laying out there. You'll see what happens to her within the movie, but you'll see her mom, who is supposed to be dead. But if you know this whole thing with the multiverses and all the places that they could be, you see her mom sitting right beside her, and she's trying to like wake her daughter up, like basically, you okay? Everything else like that. and her daughter, Monica Rambeau, is in awe because she thought her mom was dead. But this is a whole different person. This person is a person that belongs to the X-Men. And the reason why I know that is because, of course, I looked up specifically who she is. But you see somebody come in and kind of like a doctor type smart type thing, and coat type wise, and it's the Beast from X-Men. And it's not only Beast from X-Men, it's what's his name? Kelsey Grammer.
Yep.
Who played Beast in X-Men from the Fox universe. So you know where that's leading because that's going to tie into Daredevil 3. And he looks so much better. It was so clean cut the way that they made Beast look. It hyped the shit out of everybody that was in that movie theater. So that's what brings me back to what we were speaking about a while ago, Sean, of are you still excited for certain things that are coming up within Marvel? Yes, because I know there's still things 5 years, 10 years, 15, another 20 years down the road that still need to be introduced. And if they take their time and pump the brakes and build the story like they did when they first came out, it's going to be golden. I don't need Secret Wars right now. I don't need that. You can push that thing back into the 20-30 somethings if you're going to build up a Doctor Doom story.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're going to build up Fantastic Four with Galactus, you know, if everything goes okay with Jonathan Majors and you build up more of that Kang story and all the different variants, you tell me all these things come together with X-Men and the Avengers and the Young Avengers and all the, you know, the Defenders that'll become, whatever you want to throw out there. I'm excited because I'm excited all the way that they said they're going to take their time. So hopefully they take their time, put more into these movies, don't rush on them, and they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
Well, we're going to keep this short.
I mean, Deadpool 3.
We're going to keep this short because we don't know what's happening over there. We got Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom coming out Christmas. And then from what we understand, that's it for my guy over there playing Aquaman. Get the actor's name, but it don't really matter because they playing in there, but he might be transitioned to something else. Jason Momoa. And then the next big thing we have from DC is going to be the second Joker that's going to be scheduled to come out in October of next year, 2024. Outside of that, they have some dope animated films from DC, which that's always golden for them. I'm still waiting for them to drop the official date of that series. It's going to come on Max. So I'm excited to see that. I think that the writer's strike did mess up a lot of things there. But to be honest, I don't even count Batman in that universe as part of DC. Batman and all that is separate. Everything else is whatever. Batman, that's the one thing that has, they have that bulletproof skin that they haven't been able to mess up. So we'll see how that goes. That's what I'm excited. Of course, again, we have the Deadpool 3 film to be the solo Marvel film coming out this year. So that's where we're at. That's literally where we're at. I know Earl's like, bruh, can we move on to something else? Sorry, man. They ain't got no blaxploitation films and nothing like that coming out. Sorry. Apologize. This is the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy, Sean, Earl, Dave, man. Of course, this podcast wouldn't be what it is if we hadn't taken our Xbox Live conversation over 15 years and counting over to the podcast space and bring you guys this unfiltered conversation. Of course, make sure you guys continue to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast and subscribe on the YouTube channel, man, at the Hot Seat Podcast. If you guys haven't known already or seen already, or you're listening as well, you get free delivery, man, on your first order over $35 with Instacart. Just follow the link in the show notes. Let them know the Hot Seat Podcast sent you. And, it's the holidays coming up. It's Thanksgiving. You may be needing that extra, batch of pumpkin or sweet potato, whatever you do. You need some shredded cheese to the house, some extra butter, whatever you got going on, man. Go ahead. You ain't got time to leave the house. The game is on. Go ahead and put in that Instacart order. Follow the link in the show notes. Free delivery. Hot Seat Podcast sent you there. Simple as that. So in this case, I didn't have a video game corner this week. I know you guys have jumped into the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Not yet.
Still got to play more. Still got to play more before I can give up.
Got you. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't been on like the schedule of the world has gotten the best of me, and I haven't been doing a lot of gaming for the last several weeks. I had been jumping in and playing Forza, but I just had the time. There's no time at all to even turn it on. But I will be trying to get back to that. I am excited. You talking about excitement. And to bring it back full circle, you said make time. I'm waiting for the month of November to get over with, because in the month of December, we will be getting our first look and our first official trailer for the new Grand Theft Auto 6. And then we will be finding out when it drops. Time will be made, folks. Time will be made. We have been waiting for this for 10 years now. 10 years now, and we get ready to do it. In that case, man, you can find me on Xbox, SNI2X. When I do get back on there, follow me on Instagram at Sean Xavier. You know, that's what I'm doing. Dave, what you got? Earl. I got Earl. Shout out there. My bad.
NJ Fatboy 973. Yeah, I haven't been on the box like that, but I will be taking it with me to my mother's.
Feel like you need to take a nap. That's what you need, though. What you got? He's
about to lay out. The storyteller. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, man, you guys can catch us on Football Talk Live on Sundays. I'm not sure we're doing one this Sunday. Are we doing one this Sunday?
Do you want to do one this Sunday?
Right.
I'm showing up in rare form, so we'll find out. We'll be posting that more in this case. But you guys can always watch any of our recorded episodes of the live show itself, man. And of course, you can find me on Mondays, the Morning Help with Sean Xavier. Exactly. Radio, man. It's the Hot Seed, man. We appreciate you guys tapping in. Oh, my God. Enjoy your holidays, man. Yo, it's the Hot Seed. Oh, God.
The Hot Seed.